Money FM 89.3, the best of Saturday mornings. Wide World on Money FM 89.3.
Welcome back to our Wide World segment here on Saturday mornings, Money FM 89.3. The Tech Law Festival is marking its 10th edition this year, coming to Marina Bay Sands the 10th and the 11th of September, bringing together global thought leaders, innovators, and experts at the intersection of law, technology, and business. In the studio to talk with us more about that is Yong-Zi Kim, the Chief Executive of the Singapore Law Academy, the organization that is putting this together. Zeke, great to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us to talk about this festival coming up.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share about a bit of our journey and what we have planned in the coming month.
So 10 years now, 10 years in, what is this conference, what's it supposed to do for the legal industry?
Well, I would say what it's supposed to do today, right, it has got two objectives. One, it is an educational conference. So lawyers who want to find out the latest developments and get deeper into topics where law and technology intersect, they can come and attend the panels, and we go deep into topics like online safety, data centers, cross-border data transfers, quantum computing, and of course, generative AI. The other objective that we have is there's a trade show, an exhibition where lawyers who are interested to discover what is the latest and greatest set of solutions out there that it can help them become more effective and efficient in their legal practice. Those are on display as well. Opportunity for them to kick the tires, talk to vendors, get a quote, maybe get a trial ID, and test things out.
That's fascinating. So let's just briefly talk about the second part, and then we'll come more to the first part. So this is software or something that they can buy that helps them run their legal practice or understand the legalities of law? What is it, this software, this stuff that people can buy at the trade fair?
Both, right?
Okay.
So there are software. They're all software, right? And software as a service. So these are usually subscription software. Well, the practice of law is quite involved. You need to review documents. So unsurprisingly, there is software that use generative AI, right, to help you tag, review, understand documents for better recall later. There are solutions for drafting contracts, analyzing contracts, and coming up with new versions. So there are tools that help lawyers do that, managing contracts. And of course, there is legal research. So, but these are tools for lawyers to use, right? So not quite the kind of simple question and answer you get from the internet, but much more involved, full citations to sources, helps you with your legal briefs. So these are all legal tech solutions, target audience mainly for lawyers.
We're talking with Yong-Zi Kim, the Chief Executive of the Singapore Academy of Law, about the TechLaw.Fest, the 10th to 11th of September here at the Sands Exposition and Convention Center. Reimagining legal in the digital age is the theme this year. Of course, generative AI, large language models, everything is here. We've heard funny stories in recent months, in the past year or so, about lawyers who have used AI to put legal briefs together, and turns out that it was completely hallucinated. All the sources and everything were wrong. That's sort of at the low end of this discussion. Let's be clear, because I'm sure many of the people attending this are at a bit higher, playing a bit bigger game than that. But when you think about reimagining legal in the digital age, how is it being reimagined? What are the main differences that a layperson might not be familiar with?
Well, the law evolves and keeps pace with changes in technology. I think one of the topics that we will be discussing this year is online safety. Now that's a major set of developments that's taking place across the world, and particularly in Asia during this year. So what exactly is online safety? For those of us who may be new to this space, it's about how do you keep platforms, social media platforms, the apps that we use, safe right, for people who use it and for children and young people who get on it.
We're seeing Australia, blocking YouTube, for example, for younger users. Those kinds of issues, is that what you're looking at?
Well, that's one way of implementing it, and Australia has done it that way. A lot of the other countries, they are doing things like making it mandatory that you need to have community standards established. You need to have a complaint system to be able to handle complaints. And some even introduce concepts like trusted flaggers, where there are certain volunteer organizations who take on this role to identify harmful contents, and platforms have an obligation to prioritize and act on their complaints a lot quicker. Now, these are new things that's happening because of the massive reach of social media and platforms and apps nowadays, and the law has to keep up with it. But for those of us who are looking at this space, this is also an evolution, because it doesn't mean that no law existed that regulated these platforms before. 10, 15 years ago, laws were put in place, but the emphasis back then was to see how they can do the minimum required so that the technology can thrive. But fast forward 10, 15 years, the technology is pervasive. They are big businesses now, and now the obligations are shifting. A lot more prescriptive, making sure that they keep this space safe so that end users can enjoy, not be harassed, and have a choice not to interact with unwanted accounts and to avoid seeing harmful content.
This is such a fascinating chicken and the egg situation that you seem to be explaining. It's a bit cheem for a Saturday morning, but the way I'm seeing it is, are you there at this panel, this event, to organize or talk about the tech that is going to help enforce the laws, or do you look at the laws that are needed to work with the evolving tech? Do you see what I'm saying? There are two different things running in parallel here, isn't it?
Yes.
How does that work? Because it's just blowing my mind just listening to you. Are you responding to the tech, or is the tech responding to the laws you need to bring in?
Well, I'm saying both, right? Sticking with this as an example, right? The tech has evolved, much greater reach, more users are coming online, and more young children are coming online. The law has now started to put in requirements to say that if you know that your user is a youth or a young user, there are certain requirements to make sure that you protect their privacy even more. You allow them tools and functions so that they can block out and filter unwanted content and unwanted interaction. But with these legal requirements, technology also has to step up. So we're talking about technology for age verification, age estimation, age assurance, right? Enhancing standards for filters and all that. So I think it is, like you say, a chicken and egg thing, but it's also a lockstep development of legal requirements and technology.
And just to add to that, a story that's been in the news recently, which we won't discuss directly, but bullying in schools, broadly, to use one simple example, there's a legal minefield for that, isn't there? Because if the cyberbullying happens on the street, does the school get involved? If the cyberbullying happens in a shopping mall, does the shopping mall get involved? There's such a legal minefield with just one particular issue of cyberbullying. Is that something that will come up in your festival, or something that you deal with generally?
Well, we were not planning to talk about cyberbullying, but I am pretty sure the topic will come out. When you talk about online safety, and I just spoke about how the laws are intended to keep the space safe, right? The online space safe for users. Well, I mentioned unwanted interactions. Cyberbullying is a type of
or cyber stalking, or all these different things, right?
And of course, deep fakes, right? Harmful images. So these things come under that category of harmful content or unwanted interactions. So how do you protect young people? Or rather, to put it another way, online safety is about requiring platform providers to be aware of these risks and to put in measures to help young users protect themselves, or parents protect their young users from these interactions.
The European Union has been is regarded as being a little bit further advanced in addressing some of these issues. Where do we stand in Asia? I know Singapore has been talking about various things, but where are the gold standards or maybe the silver or bronze standards in Asia when it comes to these kinds of online protections for the law?
Well, I would say that different legal traditions approach things very differently. The European Union has a tradition of putting out regulations first and then using that to encourage compliance. Singapore, I think, and Asia especially, has a slightly different approach, a more consultative and interactive approach with the platforms, so that they have a good understanding of what the technology can achieve. And when they introduce the requirements, instead of introducing regulations, what Singapore has done is that they've introduced at least 2 codes of practices, right, around these topics. So a slightly different approach, but I think that for someone like me who studies these things, right, substantively, a lot more similarity than there are differences. They're all hitting the same areas, even though the requirements are calibrated a little bit differently.
These issues, I know they're very tech-heavy, very legal-heavy, but just talking about cyberbullying, cyber harassment, online security, these issues transcend both law and technology. I'm thinking of your festival. Is it just for lawyers? Because this would be something teachers would be interested in, parents, business leaders, even SMEs. Is it open to everybody or is it just lawyers?
Well, it's a ticketed conference,
obviously.
So anyone who wants to can come, right, and attend. It's not exclusively for lawyers or people who are trained in the law. Any person who is interested can definitely come and attend. And I'm talking about the conference, which is where we have these deeper legal discussions. The trade show floor, it's open. Anyone can just sign in, register. You don't have to pay, right? You can just come, register and come straight in, walk around and see. Some of the solutions that I spoke about, while mainly targeted at lawyers, businesses can actually explore using it, especially if they've got someone within their organizations who manages contracts, for example. Some of these tools can also be used by management.
So you can just sign in, you say?
Yeah, just register and you can just...
I hope there's good cyber security. It would be pretty embarrassing if there wasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I truly agree.
We're talking with Yong Zi Kin, the Chief Executive of the Singapore Academy of Law, and talking more specifically about TechLaw.Fest 2025, a 2-day conference, the 10th and 11th of September at Marina Bay Sands. 2,000 legal experts on the state of technology being used in the profession and what some of those issues are. I know a friend of mine works at a big law firm in the U.S. and they are getting attacked every day, dozens and dozens of times, hundreds of times a week, in some cases, because bad actors want to get access to their clients' files and the lawsuits and the different things that are happening. Where is the industry on protecting itself and protecting its own assets, or is it a story of they are just kind of like every other business out there that's trying to keep the hackers out? Is it different in the law community?
I would say yes and no, right? Law practices are no different from any other company, or rather, to be more precise, no different from any other company that sits on valuable information. I've been in cybersecurity and data protection for more than 10 years, right? And in the old days, it was really, they're after personal data because there's a market for it. But these days, a lot more sophisticated, they're after commercially sensitive information. So law firms are a target because of clients' information that they work with. So in that sense, they are honeypots, right? So they need to be protected well. The thing that is slightly different about law firms is that we are able to come together as a society. And this is where the Academy of Law, Law Society, and the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore came together, and we put together a set of best practices for law practices. Right, and that was, I think, issued last year. So at least for legal profession, there is a objective standard that everyone can look at, and that particular standard is contextualized and customized for law practices.
That's fascinating. Listening to everything you're saying, I can see in the short term, long term, an increase in jobs for cybersecurity tech experts in the legal profession. But the elephant in the room, and I'd love to get your view on this, actual legal jobs could decline because of AI. Now, I was listening to what you were saying earlier about we've got AI now that can go through those reams of documents, the really tedious work that legal professionals, solicitors have to do. AI can do that now. Now, this is the existential problem that many industries are facing, right? The grunt work will be taken away by AI. Great for your big shot lawyers and barristers, not so good for your legal interns, apprentices, new solicitors who need to find their way. Yeah. What do you see? What do you see AI doing to jobs in the legal industry?
I will tell you what I'm seeing, and I will also tell you what the Academy of Law is doing. So I don't disagree with you. The technology will come that will take away the more menial and mundane legal tasks.
Which is how lawyers get their start, a lot of lawyers.
Yes, yeah. I'm one example.
Exactly.
I used to do document review. I used to do simple contracts, right? And through repetition, you gain insights and the eureka moment, and that's what they call experience, right? Now that will be shortened. It will not disappear, but it will be shortened. The runway for that will be shortened. So the approach that we are taking is, number one, all lawyers need to know how to use generative AI, and we've embarked on a massive exercise, the entire legal sector, to make sure that all lawyers at all levels of seniority learn how to craft prompts. The Academy of Law has issued a prompts engineering guide for lawyers.
Interesting.
With pages and pages of legal tasks that a generative AI tool can be used to help perform. It sends a message to say that, well, this is something that you better start exploring and you better start picking up. In parallel, we have also devised new methods of training and new training program precisely to deal with this problem. AI will remove the opportunities or lessen the opportunities for learning through repetition.
Yep.
So how do we complement that by a more deliberate method of training young lawyers to get them quickly up to speed on analysis, judgment making, right? Don't leave it to time and
right, yeah, and the repetition of
Don't leave it to that, right? How do you bring that forward? Be a bit more deliberate, right? And at the same time, teach them to now analyze and assess the outputs of these tools, so that they are using these tools to be much more efficient. So we've embodied that in a junior lawyers program that we launched in May this year.
Wow.
And so that's why I say we see these issues and we are taking steps. Massive training so that all lawyers know how to use generative AI, and also very deliberate and targeted training for young lawyers so that their training runway is shortened and they can get up to speed as quickly as possible.
It's so interesting that you say that, Zeke, because most of the time we ask that question in a variety of industries, and they simply say, "Oh, well, it's allowing more time for more value-added and higher-end jobs to be done," versus what you're saying, which is we are actually taking this on board and we are going to train our up-and-coming lawyers in a different way so that this change in the work environment doesn't impact them. That seems to me to be quite a difference from some of the other industries we've heard.
Yeah. I guess it's we've been fortunate to be able to have those discussions with the profession as a whole, and we were able to extract learnings from that. So as you say, we do this so that very quickly they can move on to the higher value added work that we were just talking
because you
about.
need those higher value lawyers eventually anyway.
Yes.
When the current generation retires, you've got to replenish, right?
Correct. We need to continue hiring, invest in training, because we need that. The Singapore economy is growing very rapidly, right? And the stronger the economy is, the more legal services will be required to support a growing economy. So we need lawyers.
we are going to have to leave it there. The TechLaw.Fest 2025, the 10th and 11th of September at Marina Bay Sands. Anyone can sign up and go. The discussion parts of it are ticketed, but the more open area, what do you call it? The
trade show, the
exhibition is free for anyone to attend.
And has fabulous cybersecurity. He wants to make that very clear.
Lots of cybersecurity. Yong Zi Kin, Chief Executive of the Singapore Academy of Law. Thanks for being with us today.
Well, thanks for having me this morning. Thank you.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.